G'day viewers, Retro Man here. Sam Elliott is back on the 80s show. That's right guys, I'll be doing a retrospective on his cop film, Shakedown. Stay tuned for more.
Coming to you from a basement studio somewhere down under, it's the 80s show with Australia's Retro Man. On tonight's show, Retro Man does a retrospective on Shakedown, aka Blue Jean Cop. Well, what are we waiting for? Lights, camera, Retro Man!
G'day viewers, Retro Man here and welcome to the 80s show. Now today I'll be continuing on with our Moustache Superstar series with another film starring Sam Elliott. That's right guys, Sam and his moustache are back for the 1988 crime flick Shakedown, also known as Blue Jean Cop. Now this film, if you've seen the poster, you will see it has Peter Weller on there and Sam Elliott. So you think to yourself, man, are we going to get a buddy cop film in the tradition of Lethal Weapon? Well, I'm here to say not exactly, but you are going to get a bit of an interesting film. It's a bit of an odd film at the same time because you kind of think you're going to get a buddy film and you don't really get your traditional one. But guys, what you do get is Peter Weller at the peak of his fame. Now, he'd just come off the bat of RoboCop, and they certainly marketed the film with that RoboCop angle. It's Peter Weller from RoboCop, and you've got Sam Elliott there, who at the time was doing all these interesting, gritty little roles. I mean, he just came off Peter Bogdanovich's Mask, playing that amazing biker role. So you've got these two guys coming together, Peter Weller and Sam Elliott, and Weller's actually playing a burnt-out legal aid lawyer, while Sam Elliott is playing a grisly undercover cop. And he kind of looks like he hasn't bathed in a long time. That's how undercover he is. And they're sort of coming together. It's a story to do with police corruption and drug trafficking, and they share some scenes, but it's not really a buddy film. They're each doing their own thing and they just come together at certain points. And there's some wild action in this film. I mean, Sam Elliott is kind of mainly in the action scenes, and Peter Weller has these relationship problems, and in some ways Peter Weller has kind of got the more meatier role. I mean, he has a couple of relationships here with these women, and Sam Elliott, I mean, I think where the film would have benefited is if they had went a little bit deeper with his character. I mean, he's this undercover cop, but I mean, maybe show a little bit outside of that world. And with Peter Weller, they certainly do. He has more screen time than Sam Elliott. In fact, when you put this movie on, if you're expecting just a Sam Elliott film, you will see straight away Peter Weller actually gets top billing and Sam Elliott's second billed. And I kind of wanted a bit more Sam Elliott, but he gets involved in these wild and woolly action scenes, Sam. And there's kind of one on a roller coaster that's really nail-biting. It really turns up the heat in that scene. And later on, right in the climax, he kind of goes and jumps on the takeoff wheel of this plane, which is kind of exciting as well. And of course, this film was shot in the gritty urban streets there of Times Square in Manhattan. I mean, they really went down to 42nd Street. You kind of can feel it permeating out of the screen. And that's one of the plus points, is the 42nd Street footage. It's really gritty, it's really grimy, and you kind of think you're there. And the funny thing is, Sam Elliott is undercover, hanging out in like this movie theatre, and the director of Shakedown is James Glickenhaus. In fact, he's the writer-director of this thing. And the Sam Elliott character is in this movie theatre, as I said, and there's James Glickenhaus films playing in this theatre, and he's asleep in the theatre, and he kind of gets up and he goes to sort of tidy himself up in this really dirty, grimy cinema toilet. And in the toilets there, he kind of has his grooming kit hidden in this little this little thing on the wall there. There's just like a little cupboard on the wall, and he's kind of got his toothbrush and stuff hidden there. Meanwhile, Peter Weller comes in and they exchange a few words about what they're doing in the city here and what's going on and how they're going to tackle crime. And if you like that sort of atmosphere of old Manhattan and, you know, those grimy streets and those porno theatres and what's going on there, I mean, this really has that essence of that griminess in the film. It comes and goes. And these guys were real troopers to get down there, because at the time it was very dangerous to film in those areas. And I mean, Sam Elliott and Peter Weller are in these streets, and Sam actually has a bit of an action scene in the street as well, which is quite interesting. It's this film, being a James Glickenhaus film, I mean, it's quite violent and quite confronting at times. There's drug use, there's a lot of coarse language, particularly from Sam, and there's actually a lot of violence at times, unexpected bursts of it, and there's some interesting action sequences, really. The film kind of, as a whole, for me, didn't work as such, but definitely if you're a Sam Elliott fan, or even a Peter Weller fan for that matter, you should check it out, because this is a gritty little 80s action film. It takes a few chances with what it's doing. It's not really the buddy film that some of the posters make you believe it is, but it's, you know, serviceable. Sometimes you want more, you get a little less, and then sometimes you get something that you're not expecting. So for that reason, Shakedown, or Blue Jean Cop, depending on where in the world you saw this thing. I mean, Blue Jean Cop, I think, is the better title. Kind of Shakedown is a bit of a forgettable title, I think. So I would have personally went with Blue Jean Cop in the United States, but they got stuck with Shakedown. And in Australia, in my country, it came out as Blue Jean Cop, and it didn't get a real big run in the cinemas. I mean, I never saw it in the cinemas. I think I remember seeing the poster, and it lasted about a week at Hoyt Cinema in Australia. And actually, I could tell you a bit of a story behind that. Hoyt's had this film, and they go, oh, look, we're going to have to stamp an R on this thing for content. Like I said, it's pretty violent. And they went, wow, can we maybe tidy it up a little bit? So every print, they kind of cut 1 minute out of it. They cut some violence, they cut some implications of sexual violence and so forth out of the print. And they released it under an M rating in Australia instead of an R rating. And in Australia, 15-year-olds can go and see an M-rated film, but you have to be over 18 to see an R. And they kind of felt, after the success of RoboCop in Australia, that if they released it as an M, they would sort of pick up the box office dollars. And this film really wasn't that much of a hit. I mean, I think they spent about $6 million on it. It made about 10 back domestically in the United States. So, you know, they're in front a little. And then around the world, I mean, it made a few dollars here and there. So overall, it's deemed a success. But it's not a hit like Lethal Weapon or any of those buddy films that were kind of coming out at the end of the 80s that had that comical edge. I mean, there may be a couple of laughs in Shakedown, but it's really pretty gritty, and in some ways a bit disturbing at times. So there's some confronting scenes there. And Sam Elliott really does his bit as this grizzled guy. I mean, he's got that shaggy, longer hair. It's the same kind of look that he had in Roadhouse. I mean, Roadhouse, what a movie. I mean, I'll be back to talk more about Roadhouse sometime soon. But he kind of looks like he's just stepped off the set of Roadhouse. Actually, this was filmed before. This movie came out in 1988. Roadhouse came out in 89. And Sam Elliott, his career was really starting to cook here. He was kind of really stepping it up there in the late 80s. And from what I've heard, actually, Peter Weller and Sam Elliott didn't really get along on the set of this film. They kind of, didn't really gel. And they both had the same agent at the time, amazingly. Maybe that's how they ended up in this thing together. But they secured this gig. And it's a so-so film, like I said. I mean, you're not expecting this blockbuster. It's just a gritty little action film. And if you're used to Jane Glickenhaus's work, I mean, he's a very gritty filmmaker, James Glickenhaus. He likes to throw violence on the screen, and he's responsible for that little independent film that came out of nowhere and made a bit of a dent at the box office. It was called The Exterminator with Robert Ginty, that film, and that film kind of got Glickenhaus's career going. Actually, after that, he did another film with Ken Wall called The Soldier, and actually the soldier is on the screen in one of those scenes where Sam Elliott is in the theatre. So Glickenhaus's other films are actually appearing in this film. Actually, there's a scene in this film, a marquee in downtown Times Square, and Sam Elliott's there. And for a fleeting second, you can see his other movie advertised, which was Fatal Beauty, another gritty little film that he did with Whoopi Goldberg around this time as well. So you could kind of see that on the marquee, which is interesting. But yeah, James Glickenhaus is also responsible for that Jackie Chan, Danny Aiello film, The Protector. Now, that film was a mishmash of ideas. It kind of didn't work that well for American audiences, but it's still a very entertaining film. And I mean, Danny Aiello and Jackie Chan, do they really make a team? It's kind of like Peter Weller and Sam Elliott. But regardless, guys, Shakedown is an interesting crime flick. Check it out if you're a Sam Elliott fan. And tell me your thoughts and feelings on Shakedown, or should I say Blue Jean Cop, in the comments below. Did you see this film at the cinema? I mean, did you see it on video? It definitely did the rental shelves back in the day. And in Australia, I remember seeing it front and centre as Blue Jean Cop. And I mean, when this film starts, I mean, you see Peter Weller in blue jeans at one stage, and you think, is he the Blue Jean Cop? But he's a lawyer, of course. And then kind of later on, I mean, Sam Elliott's wearing blue jeans, but there's a bit of a plot thing there, what Blue Jean Cop really means. And that's why I kind of think it's the better title of the two. So guys, share your Shakedown memories in the comments below, and look out for more Moustache Superstars. I will be back with more Sam Elliott, and maybe one day I might even talk some more Peter Weller. You never know. But definitely, guys, look through my catalogue and check out some of those other Moustache Superstars episodes. I did one on Sam Elliott's fantastic Western, The Quick and the Dead, and I will be back with more Sam Elliott later on. So in the meantime, guys, please like, comment, and subscribe, and share the love when it comes to the 80s show. I mean, tell your friends about it. I mean, come in, watch some episodes. Please like, as I said, interact and comment, and I would really appreciate it if you hit that subscribe button. I mean, I'm just so thankful for all the support, and let's just keep on rocking with the 80s show. In the meantime, guys, I'm going to kick back this afternoon and maybe watch another movie or listen to some music, but that's how it goes here at the 80s show. I will be prepping some more episodes behind the scenes. So it's been an absolute pleasure talking about Shakedown, and I will be back with more soon. In the meantime, guys, this is Retro Man. living the dream, 80s style. Stay gold.
Thanks for watching. Retro Man will return faster than a boomerang and tougher than Mr. Sam Elliott in Blue Jean Cop. Please subscribe and good night, viewers.